Where am I?
So, I've got good news and I've got bad news.
I feel really sick.
You got shot in the chest by your superior officer. Multiple times.
What?
And now you're on life support inside a robot dick.
Oh, don't talk nonsense.
That was the good news. The bad news is I can't tell you to get in the fucking robot since you're already in it.
You're either stupid or insane!
Welcome to Zone of the Enders. That's Jehuty. I'm Butcherson, aka the second runner-up for last place, and this is Mech Talk, the show where cars are poorly made mobile armors. Let's get into it. So apparently this all starts in 2014 with the Earth suffering from pollution highs and energy lows, which starts up the orbital transport concept as a worldwide science project. But that's like explaining how we get bicycles by looking at the first wheel. So let's fast forward to the year 2172, where a space colony near Jupiter is under attack by Baram forces, who are looking for targets Alpha and Bravo, Anubis and Jehuty, two very special orbital frames. What's an orbital frame? Basically a humanoid mech that utilizes Metatron as power and fix-it juice. What's Metatron? A resource mined from the planet Castillo that broke the speed limit on research and development times for StarCraft to the point where it stopped being a real-time strategy and went straight into hack and slash. So this certain space colony called Antillia is getting bombarded by unmanned orbital frames called Raptors when we're introduced to our first pilot, Leo Stenbuck, who's in actual shock and panic because this orbital frame with titties just killed his friends. Spoiler warning. She's a bitch. He manages to run away hard enough to come across the star of the series. Meet Jehuty, the blue blur with onboard AI Ada.
Everyone is dead?
That is correct. Good work, sir.
Originally developed by Baram alongside another orbital frame called Anubis, its main function is to be one of two keys to unlock and utilize a space fortress called Almon. What's Almon? Let's say it's 911 times a million.
Jesus, that's...
Yes, 911 million. But a scientist got a hold of Jehuty and set it to self-destruct when it gets to Almon. When Leo is informed of this, he had already made Ada his waifu, so this upset him a bit.
Leo, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, then it's yours forever.
All right.
So he headed on the mining planet Castillo. Years later, Dingo Egret finds it. Sorry, Leo. Fights off Baram forces, including this other titty frame.
You'll have to give it to me.
Get lost!
Discovers his former commanding officer, Nomen, is alive and pilots Anubis.
It's Dingo!
Refuses to come back to work for him and takes two to the chest. He gets revived and has his vitals sustained through Jehuty because he's literally missing his heart and lungs, so that's torture, I guess. But back to Jehuty and only Jehuty, because with all the orbital frames and their pilots in this series, we could be here all day analyzing each one, and I've really gotta pee. In terms of functionality, Jehuty is one of the few mechs that has a very unique design choice that most people notice right away. It's got no feet. Therefore, bipedal movement is quite a challenge. The most it can do is actually ice skate. But thanks to the power of Metatron and a little over 150 years of innovation, orbital frames have the power to just float in place with almost little to no effort. Jehuty's back wings alone could propel actual tons off the ground with about as much wind kicking up as a helicopter. At least that's what this scene with Leo's girlfriend seems to entail.
That is you, isn't it, Selvies?
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
However, there seems to be another glaring design choice that many would find very strange. What the hell are these hands? I mean, the mech designs before Jehuty have had hands that can actually grab so they can use weapons and such, but this unit breaks the mold by having these implied hands that can hold something via Metatron powers, as well as send and receive files and information, which will come up later. It also has a flight mode where the wings, arms, and... Alright, I guess I need to talk about that, huh? Yes, most of, if not all, humanoid orbital frames have the cockpit in the actual crotch area. Hell, this fucking octopus motherfucker's got a dick. And for some reason, we've got feminine-looking orbital frames too, and they have a cockpit. This game was the one to pioneer Mecha Fuda. Don't Google that, I still regret my decision. And let's not even talk about the ejection sequence. Speaking of shooting things off, what do the weapons look like? Well, Jehuty comes standard with a pew-pew wrist gun, a Hideo Kojima equivalent of a butterfly knife, an energy shield, an energy spaghetti burst attack, and a one-handed spirit bomb that can be charged for more power. Sub-weapons though? Holy jeez, where do I begin? Remember when we talked about those jazz hands and info transference? Well, there's a bit of Mega Man in these genes. Jehuty can actually download sub-weapons with varying utility, either from these convenient pylons or from defeated foes, with certain requirements such as a password or a very intense beatdown. You wouldn't download a car, but I could stand to 3D print some of these lasers. Of special note is the absolutely destructive Vector Cannon with a buffer time of "damn it, I got hit, now I have to do it over again," and the Nothing Personnel Kit Zero Shift, which zooms you almost instantaneously towards your target.
Cold Steel, the Hedgehog.
So, is it cool? Guys, we have a giant robot that has the speed and ferocity of a Devil May Cry character, is floaty as a balloon, and has the most awkward seating arrangement right next to Darling in the Franxx. It's one of the most badass things Konami ever abandoned. Even its idle animation says, "I'm pretty much God, but if you touch my eject button, I'll moan."
So, Pilot, did you get all that? Oh, the IV ran out. Can someone get me more Metatron, dude?